What's up, Javelina football fans? I am Jacob Daniels alongside
Chris Olivares.
And this is the Javelina Broadcast Network football pregame show. Tonight, the Javelinas are playing West Texas. This is a big conference game. I feel like we've had a tough 3 weeks, but we bounced back last week. We beat Western Oregon, and take it away, Chris.
So to start off about that Western Oregon game, yes, we did come away with the win, 21-14. We did have a new quarterback. Jalen Brown took the snaps. He went 16 for 28, 276 yards, 2 touchdowns, as well as 2 interceptions. But we did receive word that second interception wasn't really on him. It was just a good defensive play for Western Oregon.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing too, and a lot of people stepped up for us. Jalen Brown threw it was like 8 different wide receivers. He spread the ball around, and in my opinion, I feel like that's what's going to happen tonight. We've struggled throwing the ball in the past couple of weeks. We just have to keep airing it out and spread it around. This team is extremely talented. We got people everywhere, and the roster is stacked.
Yep. So to touch up on that wide receiver thing, I did have 3 wide receivers I wanted to talk about. Eli Martinez, who did start to come up a little bit in that homecoming game. Granted, he did get a few big passes, but ultimately that came at, I believe, the end of the second quarter, going into halftime, so we didn't really have enough time to mount a drive. But he did have 3 receptions for 71 yards. Jackson Allen, 3 receptions for 60 yards and a touchdown, as well as King Phillips, love the name by the way, 1 reception, 11 yards, as well as a touchdown. So that's just 3 guys that caught the ball. I want to say everybody who was on the active roster at that Western Oregon game caught a pass with the exception of 1 wide receiver.
Yeah. So, to kind of build off of that, we did have some unfortunate injury news. Roger Hagan, obviously, as you guys saw, did go down against Western Oregon. Recently, they were just out here practicing. We did see Roger in sweats and a t-shirt. I don't know if he's going to play today, but again, that running back room is stacked. I've talked to a lot of them, and each one of them, and Roger believes to himself that it's always going to be the next man up, and you know who's going to be on that sideline preaching for him is Roger. So I'm not too worried about the run game.
Me neither.
It's going to come down to us throwing the ball. We got to throw it around.
Yep, and we did see some guys step up in recent games too. We saw Santana take a couple of snaps before. Last game as well, we did have Lawrence Starks, who went for 18 attempts, I believe, with 33 yards as well as a touchdown. We did see Roger get the ball 9 times for 24 yards as well. So that running back room doesn't really need a solidified RB1. Yeah. Any of these guys can get that ball, get the ball handed off to them in that backfield, and make a play. Yeah, that's something that you can really rely on in that running game.
Yeah, so kind of moving on from the offense here, that defense is going to have to step up. Last week against Western Oregon, we saw DeMarcus Hendricks had 6 total tackles, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble that he would recover. We've seen it in the past 3 games. That defense is nails. That first quarter, you're not going to be able to score against us. But the offense has to contribute to that too. Like, we have to be able to stop them, score, stop them, score, stop them, score. So the defense is going to have to step up like it usually always has to.
Yep, and that's something that's been a big factor in this Javelina football program in recent years. We've seen this defense take the next step ever since, I want to say, the 2021 season, where we've seen this defense step up and just get better and better. I know a couple of years they were preaching bend but don't break. Now it's just don't bend. And a lot of these times, of course, you do need the offense to score some points. You need this offense to buy some time for this defense to catch their breath and stuff, because if you have the defense out there the entire game, similar to what we saw at that homecoming game, they're going to get gassed. They're going to start making mistakes, and you can't really blame them. It's just a factor of not getting enough rest and not being level-headed on that sideline and when you go onto that field.
Yeah, it's discouraging. You stop them the whole quarter into the second half, and you stopped them, 5 times, and you still haven't put up any points. Yeah, it's going to come back, and it's going to discourage the defense, because the defense is going all out, and the offense can't do anything. But kind of moving on to tonight, we don't know who is going to be the starting quarterback. This week, we saw Teague Siddall and Jalen Brown splitting reps during practice. I don't know who's going to start. It's really windy out here. I think the wind is going to continue to stay where it's at and be pretty windy. Obviously, you can kind of tell what's going on. So who knows what we're going to do? Are we going to be able to throw in that wind? The wind's coming from the back of the end zone. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's just going to depend on which direction we're going to be facing come that first opening drive. It'll, depending on if we have the win for us or the win against us, it is going to be a tough test for both of the offenses on both sides of the field. Both West Texas's offense is going to have to factor in this wind, as well as a Javelina offense. But in my opinion, after the I guess you can call the success that Jaylen Brown had last week, and it seems like he's airing the ball out a little bit more, which is something we haven't really seen this season. He doesn't rely on a single guy. He just whoever's open, whoever's going to step up to the plate and take the challenge. I think Jaylen Brown should start.
Yeah, and kind of the last thing we kind of want to talk about is the past 3 weeks we played the top 3 opponents in the Lone Star Conference. Coach Javelinas has preached every time we've talked faceless opponents, and last week we gave Western Oregon their first conference loss. So tonight we just have to have that same mentality of a faceless opponent. But anyways, thank you all for tuning into this live update on the Javelina Broadcast Network. Check back here at halftime for more updates and another live at halftime.